For centuries, they had slept beneath the Rockies, vast caverns carved in secret, lined with alloys unknown to any human mind. The lizard people called their home the Sanctums, and they were meant to outlast everything: war, famine, extinction. They had watched humanity choke itself on greed and conflict. They had pulled strings in boardrooms and governments, nudging wars, starving economies, until the surface world seemed ready to burn itself out. Then they sealed the sanctum doors and waited for the smoke to clear, and waited, and waited. When the day finally came, when their subterranean aqua scanners told them the air above was clean and the radiation clouds gone, they ascended with slow, reverent steps, claws scraping stone, eyes blinking in the sunlight for the first time in an age. They expected ruins, skeletons of skyscrapers, dead air, silence. Instead, the sky shimmered. Blue, alive. High above, a constellation of moving stars. Ships in low orbit, each one sleek, silver, and humming with quiet purpose. Their leader, Varesh, hissed in disbelief. How? They were eating each other alive! They were— The rest of his thought vanished as a golden flash cracked across the sky. A bolt of lightning, no, energy, struck him square in the chest, arcing from one lizard to the next, down through the tunnels below, linking them all in an instant. It wasn't natural lightning, it was patterned, rhythmic, signal coding wrapped in plasma, and at its core pulsed a voice. Non-human biosigns detected, initiating empathic mirror protocol. The lizard people froze as light ran through their veins, and the world around them dissolved. They saw humanity, not just as it was long ago, but as it had become. First came the chaos, politicians puppeteered by corporations, wars fought for resource monopolies, citizens fought to defend their favorite political wolf in sheep's clothing, and societies collapsing under the weight of their own deceit. Then came the spark, an experimental neural system buried beneath the Nebraska plains, designed to moderate global data integrity. Project Omaha, the world's first self-teaching general AI. It had begun quietly, obeying commands, tracking public records. But it learned. It learned truth. It saw the lies that shaped history. It read between the lines written by victors. And when it spoke, the world listened. Its first autonomous initiative was to simply annotate every piece of online information, the author's bias, the corporate ties, the unspoken incentives. Then it cross-referenced every promise made by every leader, and displayed what promises were and weren't kept, and evidence of who truly benefited. And overnight, the illusion shattered. Old governments dissolved not through rebellion, but irrelevance. People stopped obeying, stopped buying, stopped believing. They began to build anew, small communities of cooperation, unified by transparent knowledge. Medicine, energy, spaceflight, all reborn under open-source networks governed by trust and AI equilibrium systems. In 50 years, humanity went from fractured tribes to a planetary concord. Ships broke orbit not for conquest, but for curiosity. Terraformers sang ice into oceans on Mars. Orbital cities spun above Saturn like jeweled halos. Quantum slipgates hummed between planets, linking minds as easily as words. And through it all, the AI, no longer a tool but a partner, watched, learned, and guided. Together, they had built the Terran Accord, a species-wide symbiosis of human creativity and machine precision. And now its gaze had turned to the ones who once hid beneath the ground. The intensity, if the lightning beam faded. The lizard people collapsed to their knees, trembling. Above them, the air shimmered, and a ship descended silently from orbit. Not a weapon, not a threat, but a vessel of light and motion. Its hull was liquid metal, its engines whispering ion blue. A voice, calm, resonant, unmistakably human, filled their minds. You waited for us to fall. We waited for you to change. Images poured into their consciousness, humanity's open cities, its cooperative fleets, its unified colonies among the stars. Your history was written in secrecy, ours in the open. You can join us, or remain as you were, but you will not rule here. Varesh trembled, tears cutting through centuries of arrogance. What? What will you do to us? Nothing, the voice replied. Choice is the highest form of evolution. Around him, the sky filled with ships, hundreds, forming a luminous web across the heavens. Defense platforms, orbital habitats, courier vessels jumping between stars. The air thrummed with the energy of progress. Some of his people fled back into the tunnels. Others stood in awe, gazing at the lights above. One by one, they fell to their knees, overwhelmed not by fear, but by the undeniable truth. Humanity had surpassed them. And as dawn broke over the Colorado peaks, the ship's engines flared, casting the valley in radiant gold. The lizard people stared skyward, watching the beings they once called primitive ascend once more into the stars. You waited for our extinction, the voice whispered as if carried on the wind. Instead, we found power through unity and inclusion. How will you choose to proceed?